The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Welcome once again to my program. Always a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to have you out there in the audience. I get a lot of feedback from, that's what they call it today, feedback. I get comments from people out there who watch the show, and I appreciate it. I have a guest on a program this evening, and we're going to talk about homes, but we're going to talk about special homes. These are called modular homes, and they're nothing new any longer. They've been around for a long, long time. But initially, people had some skepticism about modular homes, a home built in a factory. You see them coming down the roadway on these flatbed trucks. And before you know it, next door, in a week or so, or even less, or maybe the same couple of days, the house is up and they're putting it, finishing touches on the house. So I have someone who has been in the business for a long time, real estate, modular homes, etc. So welcome, Paul Benard.
Nice to be here, Richard. It's a pleasure.
Familiar name, Paul Benard. By me, Bernard.
By me, Bernard Realtors. That's correct.
Out of originally Freetown?
Assonet.
Assonet.
Freetown is the name of the town, yes.
So people get confused, Freetown, Assonet.
They do get confused. There's two different post offices. One's in East Freetown and one is in Assonet.
And then you have what, South Shores there or something?
No, Assonet Bay Shores.
Assonet Bay Shores. Still there?
Well, the water hasn't taken it away yet. It's still there.
Give it time. With climate change,
I think it'll be there for a while.
With climate change, a lot of people are going to have waterfront property.
That's true. It's very valuable, too.
Yeah, if it stops.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't come into your living room. So let's start off with what is a modular home?
All right.
Basically, a definition of a modular home.
Well, I think one of the things that we should explain to the public or your people that watch your program is there are about 4 different types of homes that are built. There's what we call a stick-built home.
Right.
There is a manufactured home. And then there's a modular home. And also a panelized home.
Panelized home.
Now, I'll explain the difference between these 4 different homes. All right? A stick-built house would be a house that someone has a piece of land, and they've put the foundation in and everything. They have their plans and everything. They have a framer come in, and he orders the lumber and frames it. He cuts it right on the job site. Then the sheetrock people would come in. Then the electricians, then the plumber, and then all these different people would be coming in to do their part in the job. A stick-built home usually takes quite a much longer time to build than a panelized home or a modular home or a manufactured home.
When you say panelized...
okay, let me explain what a panelized home is.
Panels.
Panelized home. There are some factories that do panelized homes. You have a set of plans for, let's say, a ranch. Okay, they have the plans, they cut all the wood, they put the plywood on and everything else, they put it on a flatbed, and they bring it to the site. It's like putting a puzzle together.
Oh,
so they put the puzzle together, and then they have the whole frame done, and the roof goes on.
Now,
that's a panelized home.
Now, in the panels, do they have the electrical and plumbing?
No, they don't.
All right, so that's
done on site.
On site.
Yes.
All right, and then you say before we get to the modular home, manufacturing.
Okay, manufactured would be for homes that some people live in that are 55 and over areas. Like they have, I think, one in Tiverton, they have one in
Yeah.
Swansea.
Yeah.
So most of those are homes that were done in a factory, all right? But they have wheels on them, and they bring them over and set them up on a site. Now, those homes can be moved away,
They can be wheeled away?
because they don't have to take the chassis or the wheels off of them.
All right, so right down the roadway, not a
Right
problem?
down the roadway, if they want to move that house somewhere else, they could do that.
So
I'm
these-
calling it a house, it's really a trailer,
They're small houses.
small houses.
Oh, okay, you're talking about trailers then?
Trailers, but they're called manufactured homes.
All right, yeah, we see trailer parks.
Trailer
Matter of
parks.
fact, there's one in Tiverton.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Bugamash Road, is it?
That's right,
Yes,
yeah.
All right.
Okay, so that's a manufactured home.
manufactured home.
You see those on TV a lot, they get
Yes.
kind of blown away in hurricanes and
Yes.
tornadoes.
Yes,
They're
yes.
just ripped off the foundation or whatever they
That's
have.
correct. Now, a modular home, okay, is done in the factory, okay? The difference between really a modular home and a stick-built home is a modular home is built from the inside out. A stick-built home is built from the outside in,
Right.
all right? Because of the weather and everything, you can't build it from the inside out, a stick-built home.
Yeah,
Now, when you're building a house or a home from the inside out, all right, you're able to insulate it much better, okay, caulk it much better. It becomes energy efficient like you cannot believe, all right? The plumbing gets done. It's almost like as they do cars, it's almost like an assembly line. And every person has their thing that they do. The sheetrock guy is a specialist, the electrician's a specialist, the plumber's a specialist, everyone's a specialist.
but each house is unique.
Each house, most houses, there are different houses that you can get. I have brought some books just in case we want to show different plans.
Just give us an idea of, like a different house, the type of house.
Well, you got ranches, colonials, capes, but most of the homes that we do, and the company that I represent is New England Homes.
And where are they located?
They're located in Claremont, New Hampshire is where the factory is, Claremont, New Hampshire. And they are, their main office is in Dover, New Hampshire, all right? And I am a builder for them, all right, in Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts. So I am a builder for New England Homes.
So anyone wants to put a New England home in this
Rhode
area,
Island or southeastern Massachusetts.
they have to contact,
They would be contacting, or the
Paul
company would tell them
Benard.
to get a hold of Paul Benard.
and you're located in Newport,
Newport, Rhode Island,
on Thames Street.
Thames Street, yeah.
Okay.
That's where the action is, by the way, Richard.
So, Paul, now, a modular home. When modular homes were first introduced, people were very skeptical about them. Is that correct?
That is true, yes.
And building inspectors in towns, did they sort of
Yes,
want to
that's-
look
that's
a little
true, too.
closer?
Yes, yes. Yes, the first home I put up was in the Highlands in Fall River, Massachusetts.
I see.
And it was in the 1970, just about 1970, 71, something like that. And I remember the plumbing inspector, wanted me to open up a whole wall so he could see the plumbing behind the wall. And I said, but this has all been approved and everything. I want to see it. So I had to show it to him. So we had to open up the wall, and he looked at the plumbing.
And
and
that
said,
caused damage a little?
no,
Not too
there
much?
was no damage, but I mean, it was just the idea that, he was even skeptical about it. The electrical inspector was in the building, but this plumber wanted to, he never seen anything like it. And that was in the 70s.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way since the 70s.
So that usually doesn't happen anymore?
No, oh, no. No.
These homes, modular homes, even though they're built in a factory, are already, you might say, pre-approved by communities?
It's not pre-approved by communities. We'll take Rhode Island, for instance. All right, Rhode Island, the plans are sent to a third party. They inspect everything on the plans. They come in and inspect every project that is being done on that particular home. The plumbing, the electrical.
And who might this third party be?
This is a third party. This is what they're.
It's not you, it's not New England Homes?
Not New England Homes. It's not the state of Rhode Island. It's a third party following the different codes for all the states.
Is
and
this
making sure
person
that
an
it's perfect.
engineer or a builder?
They're trained for this. They're out of...
All right,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
a kind of a special field.
Special feel for this.
For modular homes. All
Yes.
right.
All right, and all modular home companies have to go through this.
All right.
All right, every single one. And then that is sent to the state of Rhode Island, and he looks at it, and he okays it.
Oh, who's he?
He is the master building inspector for the state of Rhode Island.
All right.
John Cocci, C-O-C-C-I. He is the head man for Rhode Island that checks all the plans, not only for modulars, all right, to make sure that everything is the way it should be.
So even stick-built homes?
Yes, they send stick-built homes to him also.
The
to be
plans
checked.
go to him?
Yeah, to be checked. And then he sends them to the building inspector.
Local building
Inspector, Tiverton, Portsmouth, Middletown, wherever it is. And then that's okay, and that's how it works. Now, the building inspector of every town is responsible to check the foundation, our foundations that we put in,
Okay,
to check
so
the decks.
all the we might say the preliminary work.
Yes,
You have to get the foundation put in.
yeah,
I need water,
yeah,
sewer,
Yep.
septic system field if necessary, unless it's in the city.
yeah.
These things are pre-done. In other words, before the home arrives.
Yes. Now, this is the beauty part. Let's hold that thought right there. Okay. Comparing a stick-built house to a modular home, right? We all have to get all the permits needed to get a building permit, okay? With the modular, I get started on my plans. Let's say they designed a colonial house that they like and everything, and all the plans are all set. We go back and forth to the factory, go to Dover, we sit down, we work the plans out, get it all set perfectly. They pick out everything that they want. So we get the plans all set. Now we have the plans all set, all approved and ready, okay? Now we still gotta get, let's say we gotta hook up, let's say we're in a town where we have to put the well in, the septic system in, like a town, Berkeley.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The septic system in. We gotta dig the hole for the foundation. We gotta put the foundation in, all right? So all of these things can be done now, because we got the plans that we want. And the building inspector has got the plans, he
So
knows what the plans are gonna
homeowner
look
can
like.
go ahead and,
So now, we don't have we get the building permit, all right? The house hasn't even been told to be built yet at the factory. We start getting all this infrastructure done.
now who's responsible? Do you handle that part
Okay,
of it?
Yeah, let me explain that. That's a good question. I handle it from the beginning to the end,
Okay.
okay? And I guess what we should do is we should tell, explain to the people that, all right, there's two ways that they can do this. They can find a piece of land, and we can put the home on the piece of land that they find. I tell a lot of people, okay, because they're not making any more land, as you said earlier, some of the land is disappearing with the water taking
Oh,
over,
yeah.
okay? But there are, if you drive through some neighborhoods, there's always a home there that looks kind of sad.
Okay, so we knock that home down.
We take that home and we say,
Grab
you've
that
lived your
land."
life, you've lived a full life, 60 years is a long time, you've had a good life. It's time to take you away, and we put a new home up.
New home.
I specialize in that. That's what I really specialize in for a lot of people, because that's the greatest thing that can be done. And you can take a ride down through some of the neighborhoods and see, wow, look at that. That used to be a little ranch, but it's not a ranch anymore. It's a beautiful colonial. They took the house away and they put it, because that land is very valuable.
Yeah.
All right, so that's one of the ways that they can find a piece of land. But you have to have the piece of land.
Okay, and who finds the piece? Oh, you could find it, or
I
they
can
could
find it, they can find it.
Yeah.
I usually tell them the best thing is to go driving around the neighborhood that they would like to live in and see. There's always something is always out there.
Okay, so
that they can find.
you get the land is cleared, and
I think we got to go back one step too, also.
right.
All right. We take care of when I say we take care of, I help them get the financing to see what they really can afford and where they are and everything. That's kind of important. I
All
mean,
right,
we all have big dreams. We all would like to live in a $1 million home.
Someone's out there, Paul, and they say, this sounds really interesting, and maybe a young couple, or maybe a couple that would like to have another home. So they they call up Paul Benard, and they say, Paul, we saw you on the Richard Urban show.
I hope so.
We were impressed with some of the material that you presented, and we'd like to talk to you about a modular home. So the first step is they stop at your office, or you go to their home.
I usually like to go, I'm a kitchen table person.
Okay, so you
So I
wanna go
usually
to-
like to go to the home, all right, and sit down with them.
And let's say they say, you know, we don't have, you know, $300,000 in our, you know, vault here in the basement.
Yeah.
We need financing.
Yeah.
What do you do in that respect? Do you take down some information about their income, their debts?
What I usually do is I have someone at St. Anne's Credit Union that's very, very good, and I'll have him give them a call. I have someone from Salem 5 that's very good. I'll have them give them a call. I have some others from Coventry Credit Union, depending what location that the house is going to be going to.
Okay, how about a mortgage company?
I don't usually deal on the modular homes
All right,
with modular companies,
mortgage companies.
mortgage companies.
All right, so basically, the
I
initial...
don't usually.
Yeah, so basically, the financing would probably go through a bank.
Sometimes a
Credit
bank.
union-
Credit
credit
unions are my favorite.
All right, good, good,
Credit unions are my favorite.
good. All right, so
They understand modular homes.
banks,
Banks are not ready yet. I hate to say that. I could tell stories about it, but
All right.
I don't want to tell stories, but they're not quite,
ready for
the Salem 5 is.
Stone the 18th century.
You know, but, you know, they're not quite, I don't know why, but they're not quite ready.
All right, so the financing is done. They've picked out the piece of land. Some of the preliminary plans of the house have already been discussed, and maybe even come to a final, you know, pretty close to being final. But they have the land, they have the financing, and they said, we're going to go ahead and have the utilities installed, foundation put in. You get involved with that, or do you say, you know, find yourself a contractor?
No, I have people that I've always used that are very reliable. They work together. They're they're excellent. They understand the modular concept. They understand what it's all about. They know how important the foundation is. They know how important everything is to the project. So usually, you know, if they have an electrician, fine, that's not a problem. If they can use their own people, all right, they have to realize, all right, that I am the general contractor on the job.
All right, so you're...
Right? I am the GC, general contractor on the job. So if they're electrician, nobody can slow us down, okay? It has to run, I'm like directing an orchestra, and I just direct the orchestra. Everything's got to go boom.
Okay, so
I can always hear the music.
in Rhode Island, you have a license.
I have a license in Rhode Island, and I have a license in Massachusetts. And it's not just a license. I have a supervisor's license. I can build up to 35,000 square feet. Any project up to 35,000 square feet for one building. That's a big size building.
Yeah. Probably...
General contractor supervisor's license is what I had.
Yeah, I understand it quite
Okay.
well. Okay, so you're getting this thing moving along,
Yep.
and then the factory gets the go-ahead. Now, does a person who wants that modular home have to put the deposit down with the factory? Let's say the house, modular house cost $200,000.
200,000.
Do they have to give the factory a down payment?
Okay. They don't deal with the factory.
Oh, you do?
They have nothing to do with the factory. The factory will not deal with them, and they can't deal with the factory.
All right, do they need to put a down payment?
Yes,
down?
they do.
How
They
much?
have to give a deposit,
How much is the
and I have
deposit?
to give it to the company I am with now, New England Homes.
How much would they be
They
required?
have to require is 10% I require.
Okay, so it's $20,000 on a
$20,000.
$200,000 home. And then the factory will start the process of putting
That's correct,
the building together, the
Yes.
home together.
yes.
How long, generally speaking, will it take for that home to be put together? I know if it's,
That's a very good question. And this is my answer to that question, okay? When I'm talking with the party that's going to be building the home, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, first of all, I have to meet them. That's why I go to their house. There's a relationship that's taken place, okay? I might not like them, and they might not like me. If we have that problem, then I don't want to do the job for them, and they don't want me to do the job for them.
Okay,
so there has to be a good relationship.
talking about a difficult client.
Not difficult, any client.
Okay.
Okay, there's some good clients out there that
You don't
I
like.
told them, I'm sorry, I'm not the man for you, but I'll get somebody else from the factory that can work with you.
Let's get beyond that.
Okay. So here's what I tell the client, all right? We're going to be married for 6 months, okay? It has to be a beautiful relationship, because I'm going to divorce you in 6 months, all right?
All right, so
and give you your keys, and you can have the house. I'm leaving.
So about 6 months.
6 months, and it has to be done perfect.
Okay, we're getting down to the end of the program. You might
Well-
not believe this, but, so anyway.
We've got all
everything
kinds of
is
things
fine.
to talk about yet.
The doors are open in the factory. The pieces are loaded, usually 2 pieces, or it could be more if it's a
Could be more. I had one delivered in Watertown, Mass, 4 weeks ago, was 8 boxes. 8
All right,
boxes.
so to put on these flatbeds.
Yeah.
Now, you got to get permission prior to going down a highway, I
Oh,
would
yes,
imagine.
yes.
All right,
State troopers take us down.
All right, so this is all, in other words, a permitted route
That's correct.
from the factory
That's correct.
to wherever the house will be placed.
Yes.
Now, that's done, and you get to the site. These boxes, whatever you want to call them, these modular
Modulars,
sections,
modulars. We'll call them
sections
modulars.
are there on a flatbeds. How do they get onto the foundation?
We have a crane in place.
No kidding. And you just pick,
Pick them up. They're stripped, okay, because they're all covered up so for the weather and everything.
plastic covered.
Very good, durable plastic. They're stripped. They're picked up, put on the foundation, picked up, put on the foundation, and that's how and we build the house that way.
So you could get maybe 2 of the modulars on a foundation in one day?
Did 8 modulars in Watertown, Massachusetts in one day.
Okay, so once it's
In
there,
one day.
one day, and trucks pull out, and the workmen come in and do what?
Okay. Now, when you get the home on the site, on the foundation, it is only 85% done. There's another 15% to be done, okay? I don't have the vinyl siding or the clapboard or the wood shingles come, I have it come with the house, but I don't have it put on the house.
All right, so that all
We
has
do
to be...
that on site, so it's done perfectly,
All right.
okay? It does a much better job.
You don't want-
This is experience.
You don't
now.
want this thing bouncing along the highway, is that it? How
That's
about
it.
ceramic tile? Done on the site?
On the site. Hardwood floors,
On the
done on the
site?
site.
No plastering, or do you
Oh,
plaster?
plaster's all done. Kitchens are all done.
And, okay,
Bathrooms are all done.
I'm talking, not sheet rock,
Sheet rock is all done.
no, plaster. That won't be done in the factory, that would be
No,
done
no,
on
no.
site. If
Very
it's
few people do plaster today.
too expensive,
Well, it's not only too expensive, the sheet rock, the way they do it is so beautiful, it's unreal.
yeah. Okay, Paul, things are pretty well by that time, the other 15%. Let me ask you this question, because I'm sure people out there will say, well, you know, you build a house and then all of a sudden 2 weeks go by and you got an idea, well, maybe we should have a 3rd bedroom. I don't know, honey, the kitchen's too small. You know, what happens? This thing is going down an assembly line in a factory, and it might have passed, you know, the point of the bathroom being done or the kitchen being done. Major problem, or because on site, the carpenter, you know, he can just pull it apart and, okay, you want it this way, it's gonna cost you X thousands of dollars, we're gonna rip out some partitions, we're gonna push this over here, or we'll extend this, factory built. What
We can
happened?
do that.
Okay.
It's going to cost some money, but
All
we
right.
can do
But
it.
you could even do it on site.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
once
we
it-
have done it on site.
Okay, so once it's delivered,
Yeah.
it's not like the end of the world.
Oh, God, no, no.
It can be reconfigured
Yep,
on site.
yep.
Well, Paul, homeowners eventually look at the property, give you the final word. Things are fine. They find no discrepancies, no smudges. Hardwood floors are perfect. Inspector comes in, final inspection. Who comes in? You have a final inspection?
We have to get a CO, yes.
Okay. Do all the inspectors come in?
All the inspectors come in,
Sign a sheet?
sign a sheet, just like a regular, yeah.
You know, plumber, electrical work,
Plumber, the electrician, everybody, yes.
everyone comes in. What about water quality? Is that tested?
That's tested if you have a well. That's tested before you even
Hook in?
get a building permit. That has to be tested first.
First, okay. Bad
Yes.
water, no house.
Well, bad water, you don't want to put a house on it,
No,
no.
no, you don't
And
want
the only
that,
bad water you can get is that area that you mentioned in Sonnet Bay Shores. I remember putting a well there, and boy, it came right up, the water was bubbling. I said, wow, that's terrific. I went over and tasted it.
Salty?
Salt water.
No kidding.
Couldn't put a house there.
Yeah.
So it does happen. It does happen.
Now, Sonnet Bay Shores, is that fresh water or salt water?
That's brackish water.
Oh, that's that mean stuff.
Brackish.
Yeah, that's that mixture, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anything to add, Paul? We're down at the end of the program, very quickly. I'm going to have you come back anyway.
Well, I like to tell the people, this is very important, that if they're interested, and you got some people watching the program, on June 6th, in Claremont, New Hampshire, we will be having a factory tour, and everyone is welcome. It's at 10 a.m. There will be 2 seminars that they will have also, if you want to attend the seminars.
June 6th.
June 6th, 10 a.m., Claremont, New Hampshire.
That sounds interesting.
If you want to come up, take a walk through the factory. They'll explain everything, how the house is built. If you've never been to
Do you have
a
to
modular
have to
home
be a bona
factory-
fide buyer, or can you just?
No. I think everybody should, and you can bring the children too. It's very educational for the children
Okay.
to see how a modular home is put together.
All right, I got to make an announcement. We're at the end of the program, Paul.
Thank you
I want
very
to let
much.
everybody know that Monday is Memorial Day, and at Miller Monument, at the intersection of South Main and Shove Streets, we're going to have a ceremony that is honor of Corporal David Miller, who served in World War II in the Philippines. He was captured there, put on the Bataan Death March. He happened to survive, but 4,000 or 5,000 Filipinos and Americans were murdered by the Japanese. Corporal Miller ended up in the POW camp where he died. His body was never returned to the United States, so the monument is a symbolic resting place for him in honor of also all the World War II veterans in the South and the Fall River in the city of Fall River. So that's Monday, 11:30. If you have a chance, stop by. And Paul, look, it was a great show. I'm glad you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I want you to come back.
I want to come back.
we
We
wanna-
got to go over a little bit more of this.
Yeah, I want to
There's
tighten
some
up
things
some
that
of
we forgot.
Yeah, good. Paul Benard, Newport, Rhode Island, Thames Street. Get in touch with him if you're interested in a modular home. We got some property to sell. Well, anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.